we'll just babble for a few while people come into the room.
We are live. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. What's up, guys? We have a really awesome guest lined up. We have a great panel lined up for today. It's Zenescope Movie Club. Get excited. Tonight we're talking Flash Gordon, guys.
Yeah, it's going to be a full house.
And my green screen backdrop.
Yes, we're putting up all the stops, and we have our special celebrity guest in the backstage. We'll bring him on in a couple of minutes, but we just want to say hi to everyone. No. Well, people are filing in. I think
David,
people are very excited for
Matthew, tonight. Robert. Wow. Hello, Elena. My sister's on.
Our boy Rob Chinqui's on. Hello.
So so what we're gonna do, guys, we're gonna bring Sam out soon. We're gonna ask him a few questions, then we're gonna bring on our panel that we talk movies with every month. Brian, Marilyn, Crystal, and Son. And then once we let Sam go, we'll discuss the movie more in depth. And then we're gonna show the new cover of the month, Chris.
Which is going to be available tonight on sale in the web store after Movie Club wraps up. So stay tuned.
So we'll be putting the new cover on sale, the homage cover by Son. Always killing it for us. So yeah, that's what we're doing, man.
Yeah, let's get started.
All right. So without further ado, I want to bring on our first guest. Sam Jones. He's an American actor, originally from Chicago. He made his first appearance in the 1979 rom-com film 10. I hope this is all correct, Chris. This is fact check.
I did research. I did very thorough research.
1 year, you researched this for months. 1 year later, he landed a titular. I can't even say. I just saw tit.
Ralph, we're live. Stop.
Sorry. He landed the role in Flash Gordon, a cult classic. Besides that film, Sam went on to star and guest in a wide variety of TV shows, including Code Red, Highwayman, Hollywood Safari, and Stargate SG-1. Let's welcome Sam to the stream. Hey, man.
Where am I?
There you are.
Front and center, Sam.
There you are. You look beautiful. We went shades.
Hey, Ralph and Chris. Thank you for having me. I love that intro. American actor as opposed to international actor,
or South
Nairobi actor. I mean, I love it.
Yeah. Hey, that was Chris's research.
I will restate. You're an actor's actor. You're a working man actor. You're all the above.
Well, it's been a great 45-year career. It's still going. Still going.
You. That's amazing. I do have a quick question. I wanted to get right into this. I find it fascinating that you, from what I understand, you beat out Kurt Russell and Arnold for the role of Flash Gordon.
Yes, I found that out.
Possibly.
Pardon me?
Is that true? Is that accurate? Or
that's accurate. I didn't know that till years later because back then in the late 70s, meeting or auditioning for Dino De Laurentiis, it was a very confidential, very non-disclosure. I mean, seriously, this was unheard of, but it happened. You would go in one door for your meeting. You were told to park at a designated parking lot. You would enter one door. You would leave through door C, as opposed to evidently, because I didn't see anybody. During the first phase, the early process. We're talking about 9 months of interviews and auditions. And finally, the final phase was 30 days of old-fashioned screen testing in England. And that was 30 days. Remember, we didn't have a video back in the 70s. It took a small skeleton film crew. So I didn't know that the names you mentioned. I'm a big fan of Kurt Russell as well, but I found out that they were up for it, and evidently the same thing. As I went into door A and came out door C, I guess Kurt was coming in door D and going out door A. I mean, it was crazy.
That's funny. Wow. I bet you. I mean, I don't know back then. I mean, I guess Kurt was a pretty well-known star at that point already.
Oh, he's been huge. He's been a star since, if I'm not mistaken. Brian could probably give us some insight on this. I think since he was 5 or 6 years old, if I'm not mistaken.
That's true. He was a child actor. He was. Brian would definitely know this. Brian knows all this random stuff.
Brian knows everything.
He was a child actor on Brian. What show? Do you know? Nod if you know. He's not. He doesn't. He doesn't know.
Armand Higgins. It happened at the World's Fair.
Wasn't it Gentle Ben? But maybe it was another child actor. I thought it was Gentle Ben.
I thought it was like the Little House on the Prairie or something. No,
it was either Gentle Ben or the. Was it Flipper? I don't think it's Flipper.
Well, needless to say,
Chris, since Ralph is doing all the talking, you have time to Google it right
Chris
now.
Chris didn't Google anything. Chris.
Yeah.
Chris, so let me ask you a question. I'm going to Google. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, speaking of Kurt Russell, it was interesting. He turned down the role of Flash Gordon, and then the next year later he started on Escaper from New York, which is another movie we reviewed on Movie Club. So it's different paths. You never know where life can take you. But for you, a little birdie told me that you might have got cast in the film because of your appearance on The Dating Game. Is that also true?
That's what I was told. I mean, I was a guest on The Dating Game. I mean, obviously back in the 70s, I mean, I was just starting out in acting class. I think my first gig was a Schaefer beer commercial with the legend Jerry West. I think we did that in 1977. And then mainly studying in the theater and improv with the Groundlings, not with the Groundlings tour, but the classes. Matter of fact, I was so bad in improvisation with the Groundlings. They said, you need to take the beginning class again. So I did. I mean, it's wonderful. It really changed my career. It really did. But anyway, yeah, it was, we're talking 70s, guys. 70s.
Yeah. I mean, wow. That's crazy. Wait, I have an answer, guys. I have an answer. I guess this is the right one. Is this the show?
The Travels of Jamie McPeters.
Yeah. He was in 26 episodes.
Oh, wow. Then that's it. How old was he is the key?
Oh, now you're asking a whole new question.
5, 6 years old. Yeah.
It's 1963. He must have been pretty.
It was the breakthrough performance of Kurt Russell when he was 12 years old.
12 years old.
Yeah, wait, you're telling me he was 12 years old in 1960?
Yep, he was 12 years old when he was on The Travels of Jamie McPeters.
I was born in 54. So what's the math on that? It means he was born in 50?
He was born in 51.
Yeah. Wow. Well, look at that.
There you go.
Okay, do the math on this. How many years has Kurt Russell been in the business?
I need an abacus.
At least 63. I'm sure he did something else. Let's just say, let's give him 1 year before that. So 1962, next year would be 60 years. Am I right? If he started in 62, let's say.
Yeah.
Air them till a year, whatever.
60 years.
So 60 years. Good for him. Good for him.
I'm just amazed that he's now what? So let's do math again. So he's 70 right now.
Yeah.
70 years old. Who thought that would?
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm getting there. I love it. I love this age and this time of my life. You know why? Why? Because, well, first of all, I wish I don't regret anything, but I wish I was making the choices now. I wish I was making the choices now that I'm doing that. I wish I could make other choices. I wish I had I guess we all learn. I have 5 kids and 6 grandkids, but not to go on a rabbit trail. But when we get older and we get a little bit more mature, you don't have to think about it. You don't have to brainstorm. There's no great mystery on should I do that or don't do that. Now when you get older, you say, no, I won't be doing that again. No. So the decisions come instantaneously.
Right. Well, you have life experience now. I wanted to ask you about that. Like you were in that awesome documentary Life After Flash from a few years back. And it really does touch on some things in your life that were difficult, probably for you, painful for you. Was it hard for you to let your guard down when, let cameras kind of in, like at that point, or was it kind of therapeutic, or both?
Both. I mean, it's a great question. Look, when somebody comes to you and they say, hey, we'd like to do a documentary on your life. Well, it's a bit disconcerting, because the first thought is, well, wait a minute, my life isn't over yet. Okay. And then the next thought is, what do you mean on my life? What does that mean? Follow me, wherever I go, in my bedroom, whatever. But then my wife and I talked about it, and they said, we want to send you every day a list of questions. I said, do me a favor. I don't want to know any question you're going to ask me. I want this to be fresh. I want it to be real. I don't want it to be planned. Well, I remember the first day, the questions, which I had not been briefed on yet. And I remember, trying to get into some deep thought about it. And I said, this is not going to work. But going to your point, Ralph,
yeah,
if men are going to reach other men, we need to be transparent. We need to talk about our failures as well as our successes. And I think that's the only way that we're able to meet, to really be able to reach people. And, I thank God for that. And of course, you saw the documentary. I mean, they asked me some questions I had no idea, and things I never even talked about. When my brother passed away at a very young age, and it hit me like a ton of bricks. So yeah, it was wonderful. It was fresh. And as I travel and I do these personal appearances, a lot of them now, almost every weekend, I get this, and now remember the fan base now, because of my age, I get granddad, son, grandson, grandmother, daughter, granddaughter. And they're telling me, it's how they saw the documentary. They saw Flash Gordon. They saw this, and it really becomes a game changer for some of them. Because I had the opportunity, I was given an opportunity in this documentary, the platform that the good Lord is giving me. I had an opportunity to talk about, okay, I was presented with this choice in my life, and this is the reason why I chose this. These are the consequences that followed, and this is how I dealt with those consequences. So when people hear that, oh, okay, there you go. It's sort of a do's or don'ts in life. And I'm glad, and hopefully, and I know I did, I saved quite a few men, heartache and hardship in making the wrong, foolish decision.
I see. So your mistakes, you obviously learn from your mistakes, but you're able to kind of use that in a positive manner and kind
That's
of
what we need
help
to
people.
Do.
Yeah.
Look,
so not everybody has that.
Doing what you guys are doing, or Brian's doing. I mean, it's a platform that the good Lord's given us. So it's not just about me. I tried that before. I've tried that for years. Me. Well, it'll work. You'll have seasons of success, but once the me falls out from under you, there's no warning. But this magical thing happens when we serve others first. The platform that we're all given, and we serve others. This magical thing happens after we serve others first. Then we usually get anything we want, anytime we want. It's a really cool concept.
Yeah, for sure.
So Sam, tie into all that, in terms of how you interact with fans, obviously Flash Gordon is and your character, it means so much to everyone, and you constantly connect with fans throughout multiple generations. We're just up on this 40th anniversary. You've been trying to do this awesome tour, doing all these personal appearances, and I feel like that really means the world to everyone. So what, in terms of your very storied experience with conventions and personal appearances, how has that impacted you? I feel like you've gotten a lot of great personal fulfillment. You can get in touch with all these personal stories with all your fans.
No, it is. And Brian will really give you some great insight on this. When we do the Comic Cons, of course, we don't have a whole lot of time. But lately now, some of the Comic Cons have diminished a little bit in size, which is cool. Now we're doing these smaller, intimate, private signings. whether it's at whether it's at a comic book store or a collectible toy store, even a smaller Comic-Con. So now, what does that mean? Now, the fans, it's their opportunity to share their story with me, to share their story with Brian, how we impacted their lives. And I got to tell you, and you hear the same old cliche, yeah, you really changed my life. Well, let me tell you something. I'm not embellishing this. I get stories where it was actually life changing. And it's and then you'll hear things like, my dad forced me to watch you, and now I'm forcing my children, and I love it, and they love it. I mean, that's great.
It's great. Yeah, you're in an iconic movie that stands up to time, which is rare.
Yeah, it's timeless. It really is timeless.
It is. What's your fondest memory about shooting it? I mean, I would probably get it. I know you get that question probably all the time, so it's
my fondest memory. Well, I mean, remember we were involved. I was involved 6 months, 30 days of screen testing in London, and then right into a five and a half month shoot, and it was my first lead role. So I know this sounds crazy, for me anyway, there's always two voices that come in my head on anything. Usually the first voice is the voice of fear. I remember being on the set. We started to roll camera. We rehearsed. There's Max von Sydow. There's Brian Blessed. There's Dino De Laurentiis. There's Richard O'Brien, who wrote the Rocky Horror Picture Show. He's an actor in the movie. And there's, Dino and Dianello Donati, who's the production designer who did all the Fellini movies. Right, and I'm looking at these sets. And remember, this is a $35 million film in the year 1979. What does that mean? When you relate it to inflation math, we're talking about right now walking on a $225 million production. So that first voice said to me in my head, that first voice said, "Oh, you can't do this. You need to don't mess this up. And you need to go back to your hotel. And this is just this is too much. You don't really deserve this anyway." And then usually the second voice, what I call the voice of reason or the voice of God, usually says, "Shut up." That's the first thing it says is shut up. Number one. Number two, wait a minute, Sam. This is not your concern. Max and Dino and Brian Blessed and Ornella Muti and Dianello Donati, this is not your concern. Your concern right now is what is expected of you at this very moment, at this very second. What do they want you to do? So that's what I had to do. I had to focus on the job at hand. And what does that mean? The other side, I didn't really get to enjoy a lot of it, but I was focused on what was required of me at that very moment, rather than going, "Oh my gosh, look at this, look at that." So that's how I did that, guys, for 5.5 months. And it worked. It really worked. Why do you think they tell athletes all the time, whether they step up to bat or whether they're on the football field or soccer, what's the first thing they tell them? Shut out all the noise. Eliminate the hindrances.
But that's easier.
Eliminate the obstacles.
Easier said than done. Yeah. I want to ask one before we bring in our esteemed panel. What do you remember most about working with Seth MacFarlane and Mark Wahlberg?
He was great.
And Ted. With Ted.
With who?
With Ted.
The star.
Well, first of all, I got this call, from Seth MacFarlane, and the first thing I said to him was, "Who are you again?" No, I love that, right? And he started to explain. I said, "No, I was just teasing. I just wanted to."
That's great.
So he said, and again, this is what I was talking about before, Ralph and Chris. I was talking about, how we impact people. So I said, "Now, what do you have? Why are you calling me?" He said, "Sam, when I was 8 years old, I saw your movie and it changed my life." I said, "Well, how did it change your life?" He said, "All I knew when I was sitting in the movie theater, I knew I wanted to be a creative type guy because of you." And I said, "Well, that's cool." I said, "Seth, you became a creative type guy. but you also turn out to be a little bit perverted. I hope I had nothing to do with that. But anyway, so that's my point. I'm getting calls now, and that's why we need to be we have this platform. We need to be very careful of our behavior and what we say, because we're talking to young people right now who are like Seth MacFarlane. They're going to grow up one day. They're going to be decision makers in whatever industry. And then we're going to get the call. So based on the math and based on what I just said, if I got that call in my late 50s, I'm in my late 60s now, right? So if I got that call then, that means right now youngsters are watching us. That means I can keep getting those calls until I'm in my 90s.
Right. Well, let's hope no youngsters are watching this show, but I know what you're saying. All right, I'm going to bring in our esteemed panel. How's that sound? And
bring them on.
They're esteemed. Okay. They're esteemed.
Okay.
And guys, I know you have there's some questions probably in the comments. We're going to get to a couple questions if you guys want to post them soon. But first, let's bring in one of your buddies. You guys know each other already from the convention circuit. Let's bring in Mr. Brian O'Halloran.
Hey, Brian.
What's up,
Good
Brian?
to see, finally, to get Mr. Sam Jones on the show. It's awesome. Got to be, and no insult to the other guests that we've had, but one of the best guests we've had, and we've had some pretty great guests.
We have Sam, and we also have Brian. Let's also bring in Miss Crystal Starr. Crystal.
Hello.
Look at Crystal's outfit.
Wow.
Yeah.
You do look like a crystal star.
That's full. This is full Flash Gordon for you.
Yeah. I
Totally.
wanted to do a Flash Gordon cosplay. It's kind of what.
It's so cool.
You weren't ready for that, were you, Sam?
No. I mean, seriously, you look like you just came out of Dino De Laurentiis's Italian costume department. I'm serious. If you look at all those costumes that they made, I mean, it was all hand-sewn sequin beads. That's what they did back then, 40
Showing you off, Crystal.
41 years ago, and that's wonderful. It really is. Good for you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, the movie definitely, at a young age, made me really aware of what costumes could do in films and how costumes could make people feel in films. And that was, what got me kind of into cosplaying and doing that kind of fun stuff. So I owe a lot to young age watching movies like Flash Gordon to what I do for a living now.
Oh, it's great.
Let's not forget also Brian's partner in crime from Clerks, his lady, Marilyn Gigliotti. Hey, Marilyn.
Hey. Oh, Marilyn. Oh, there you go.
Let's put you guys next to each other. There you go.
There you go.
Marilyn, we can't hear you yet, but hi.
Oh, no.
Last but not least, we can't hear you.
No, we're having some.
But while you're working on your technical difficulties, we're also going to bring in Miss Sun Khamunaki.
Hey,
Hi, guys.
Hey.
That's everybody, That's everybody, Sam. I promise. We got crowded.
Full house. Look at this.
We got crowded.
Look at this. Ladies on the bottom, dudes on the top.
That didn't sound right at all.
No, I'm just
Crazy.
What are you trying to say, Brian?
He's saying.
That's cool.
What?
This is what we're doing. I mixed it up.
You guys have dirty minds. I was just talking about the symmetry. That's all.
Sure.
Filthy people.
So Brian, I wanted to bring you guys on early. I know you guys probably have some questions for Sam as well, and he's kind enough to be giving us his time. Why don't you go first?
Sure. Sam, one of the questions, I know we see each other a lot, like we talked before the show. You have an amazing work ethic, even at just conventions for the most part. Were there any nuggets of knowledge passed on to you from, let's say, Max or any, Timothy Dalton or anyone else? Brian Blessed, one of my favorite actors out there. Were there any nuggets of advice that this was your first leading role that you could share with us?
Oh, absolutely. And that would have been Max von Sydow, Ming the Merciless. He just sort of took me under his wing. But before I go there, I have to give homage to homage. He's still with us. Brian Blessed, and you need to, and I will call him if you want him on the show. He will take this show or any stage, any setting by storm. He is 84, almost 85, and he is a huge blessing. And he will also sing Pavarotti. Okay, I'm telling you.
Wow.
But yeah, but Brian is everything. I mean, he's one of my heroes, and just a really cool guy to have on the show. But yeah, Max, I remember Max came up to me one day after we were filming. I'll make it quick because you have a lot of guests. Long story short, he said, "Sam, I've been watching you the past month, and you need to save your money." I said, "Max, why do you say that?" He said, "Well, you're always buying everybody's lunch, especially when we're eating at the, at the commissary at the studio." And so I said, "Okay, I appreciate that." Well, that one bit of advice took me about 30 years to learn that one. It took me 30 years to figure out, if you keep picking up everybody's tab, they're not going to reach in their pocket and pay for anything, because you're going to pay for anything. I did embellish that. Not 30 years, probably 26. Okay. But anyway, the second bit of advice, and this was very prophetic coming from one day we'd already finished his close-up, and back in the old days before digital, it took, Brian knows this because he's older than me. No, I'm teasing, he's not. Yeah. But they would spend 1 to 2 to 3 hours to once they turned the camera to relight it. So they're relighting for my close-up, and Max came in to give me the off-camera lines, but he came back wearing his 60-pound Ming the Merciless costume. And I looked at him, and now I think I'm the big shot because I'm giving him advice, right? I said, "Max, you don't need to wear that off camera. Come on, you take that off." He looked at me. I'll never forget it. And it helped me such a great deal for the next 65 films I did. But he said, "Sam, I will wear what I want to wear and do what I need to do, because my job is to bring the very best of you out since you're on camera." And I went, "Well, there you go." And then he said, then he went like this, stop talking. He said, "And I expect the very same thing from you." So let me tell you something. It was a great lesson, because as I went on to do these other films, number one, a lot of big stars nowadays won't even come back to give you the off-camera lines. That's number one. Number two, if they do come back to give you off-camera lines, it's best that they did not show up. It's best to have maybe a piece of tape on the wall. But there's just very few actors who are good at off-camera. Mark Wahlberg, he's a giver the whole way.
That's awesome. Crystal, what's your question for Sam?
I would like to talk about the football scene in the film. Was that, I remember it very well. And I remember, was that a lot of fun to shoot? How did that kind of come about? Were you a football player? Are you a football player? Do you? Yes. You seemed really natural in that scene.
Yeah, of course. You got to remember, I tell people, say, "Who are you?" I said, "Well, I've been a Marine next year for 50 years. I'm a Marine for almost 50 years, but an actor for 45. So I played Marine Corps football. And so, that was, and as far as the written scene for that action sequence, Melody says that I improvised the whole thing, but I don't remember improvising the whole sequence. But I do know when you're 23 years old, any of us at 23, we can do anything, especially if we played that sport before. So that was a no-brainer. That was easy. We just fell into it. And then, of course, Melody, she really she brought so much value into that scene. Remember, she did the Dale Arden cheerleading, Go Flash, Go, iconic.
Yeah, great.
I feel awful because I was 23 when I made Clerks, and I looked like that, and you were 23. Flash Gordon looked like that. Talk about opposite spectrums.
Oh, that's-
Brian, Sam was born with cleats on.
yeah, he can say that. Yeah.
Marilyn, what do you have any questions for Sam?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Okay. I don't know why I'm having technical difficulties here, but anyway, and I heard some of the questions and answers that you did have already, but after Flash Gordon, do you feel that you had to prove yourself, whether it was to yourself or to others in the industry, being that was like your first leading character role?
Yeah, it was, Marilyn, that's a great question. And the crazy thing about Flash Gordon, it was a huge success. And at that time, a huge success in every country except America. So, we didn't get very good reviews here. And box office wise, it was not it only became a huge success, top 10 of all time, when it went to video, VHS back then. So I had representation who were telling me at that time, you need to walk away from that whole Flash Gordon image. You need to just, I said, you mean deny it? I mean, what does that mean? Walk away. Okay. Because the crazy thing about the character of Flash Gordon, is he's just a guy. He doesn't have the superpowers. He has this purity, this naivete. And of course, Sam Jones at that time, he wasn't tainted by Hollywood yet. Okay. So the similarities between Sam J. Jones and Flash Gordon, it's scary. It's so ironic. It's identical. It really is identical. So I fought that for years, this battle. Wait a minute. This was my platform. This is what jump-started Dino De Laurentiis. Really, this is what jump-started my career. And I haven't. And look what's happened. I call Flash Gordon the triple blessing. First blessing, as you know, is anytime we get hired in any industry. Second blessing is if that job becomes successful, or if we do really well at it. And the third blessing is what we're talking about now, longevity. I mean, come on. It's 41 years ago. Well, we made it in 79. Yeah, 41 years ago. So, yeah, I'm so proud of it, and I really am. It's opened a lot of doors. It's given me this platform in life to reach people, hopefully in a good way at all times. And sometimes I have made some crazy, funky choices, and we could all learn from that as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we all have. Son, what question did you have, if any, for Sam?
Okay, before I ask you, because it's probably a question you've heard like 1,000 times, I just want to say thank you for sharing that bit about basically imposter syndrome, feeling like you're not good enough, and then kind of having to push through that. I think that a lot of artists and actors suffer from that, and I think that's what makes us push harder and perform at like 110%, and that's what makes you kind of stand out, and probably what made you just stand the test of time. Like, you are who you are now, and it's super amazing, so thank you for sharing that bit.
Yeah. No, thank you. Yeah, it's again, I don't want to sound redundant, but this is the platform. I keep saying platform, but this is the stage. This is the platform. This is what it is. And I just want to be known, as a guy. I mean, obviously, the movie industry is what got me here, but this is why, Brian, all of us who do these personal appearances, this is where we get to meet the fans. Especially, I didn't really address a little bit about these more private, more intimate settings now. Oh, you're talking about conversation now, and a one-on-one, eye to eye. And that's where, we're meeting real people, and hopefully they're meeting real people. And and thank you for that. And I still have a lot to learn, though. And I'm sorry, when they introduced you, I did not hear your name. Who just answered?
S-U-N. Like that.
So you are Son. You are the artist. You're the artist.
Yeah.
Right? Good for you. Good work.
Thank you.
Some of your work, it reminded me, obviously, it reminded me of some of the costumes in Flash Gordon #1. And it reminded me, I know you're going to say, what do you mean it reminded me of me? Remember, I was one of the first to wear hot pants. Okay. If you go, matter of fact, you need to do an illustration of me in hot pants. Okay. When you go back,
we have it on. We have that on.
Well, book that cover.
Recorded, Sam.
Look at the execution scene, right? The execution.
Yeah.
I'm wearing those green leather hot pants. Woo, baby.
Okay, well, that's a segue into my question. Do you still have those?
No, I wish I did. But what I do have is the only Flash shirt, T-shirt. The only one that survived.
Oh,
That's
right.
I have a
bet
huge
that'd go for a
collection.
pretty penny.
I have a 500 item collection. Some are redundancies like comic books and not redundancies, but comic book 1 through 25, that series, stuff like that. I count those as 25 items, stuff like that. But I have some large items as well.
We do have a bunch of questions, so we can't get to every single one because we'll
Then you know what? I'll make my answers shorter. It's Brian.
Okay, here's one. First one from Chuck Garza. Did you do your own stunts, and was there ever an injury on the set?
Never do my own stunts. Always my own fight scenes. I'll leave the stunts for all the and never got hurt because again I was young.
That's fair. When you're 20, when you're in your 20s, you could do anything. What was it like piloting the space surfboard?
The rocket cycle.
Rocket. Yeah, rocket cycle. That's not the technical name. Space surfboard.
Yeah. Talking about the rocket cycle, right?
Yeah.
There you go. Brian has it up.
Easy. Remember, we didn't have CG. We didn't have green screen. We had blue screen. And I was elevated 30 feet in the air with a big blue backdrop behind me. And of course, the rocket cycle was bolted into a 30-foot pole and had me 30 feet in the air. And that's what we did.
Sam, do you still have the rocket cycle that they made up for the commercial from a couple of years ago?
Well, you talking about the Super Bowl commercial?
Yeah,
I own that one. I own that, and that's just a few inches smaller than full scale. Remember, full scale. Are you ready for this? That it looks like a little. Full scale is 12 feet long, 8 feet wide, and 8 feet high. That's wow. Now for Ted, they designed the actual full scale model. And I owned it. I had it in a warehouse, and then because I loaned it to Seth and the movie Ted and Ted 2, I think it was. I loaned it to them, and I brought it back to my warehouse, not the warehouse I own, but the warehouse that I was renting from. It disappeared.
Wow. What? Oh no!
Full scale model disappeared. Full. I mean, identical, full electronics, everything. Yeah.
Crystal, fess up.
It's in my backyard.
We knew it.
It is now my pool float.
We're coming to get it, Crystal.
Yeah, using it for my hot tub streams. I've got a question. So one of my other favorite movies growing up was Flash Gordon, the black and white one. I think it was like 35, 36, 37-ish. Did you ever watch that when you were getting ready for Flash Gordon? And what are your thoughts on the film?
Oh yeah, the series with Buster Crabbe. Yeah, I mean that was one. I mean it's a good laugh with all the, the sparklets, what is it? The sparklers for 4th of July.
Yeah, sparklers. Yeah.
Yeah, they put that for the rockets. But the cool thing about Buster Crabbe, a lot of people don't know, he's the original Flash Gordon. He was also the original Buck Rogers. He was also one of the 18 Tarzans. He was also Captain Gallant, and he was also an Olympic swimmer, a medalist.
Did he have a pool around his house?
Well, of course, in Arizona, that he trained up until I think the day that he passed away. But Crystal, he traveled with me right up a couple days, a week before the movie premiered, about a week before Christmas. We did a couple talk shows together. He traveled with me locally to help promote Flash Gordon. He was wonderful.
That's cool.
Wow.
That's really, really cool. So, and I love the similarities between the films. I love that the 1980s Flash kept a lot of the same like styles and stuff from the original.
Yeah.
So I just love that growing up, and I was just curious if your background and connection with that. So.
Sam, tying that in. Oh, sorry, were you going to say something?
No, just a quick side note. If you take a picture of Buster Crabbe when he was 24 years old and you put it next to my black and white 8x10 at 24 years old, you're going to say, are they twins?
Yeah.
Most likely fraternal twins, but similarities are crazy.
That's cool.
We do have another question about the comic book. David asks if you read any of the comics before playing the part, and how do they influence you?
I didn't really read the comic books, the Flash Gordon comic books. I only got the comic books because of the ads on the back. I remember when I was a young boy, and they were advertising 100 toy soldiers, little plastic toy soldiers on the back of the comic book. And they were 99 cents for 100. I went to my dad. I said, Dad, they're only 99 cents. He said, son, that's too much money. Okay, so that's why I got the comic books. But let me tell you what Dino did. So when he finally told me that I got the part, he gave me these 3 or 4 coffee table edition books by Alex Raymond and Williamson. And I just went through them. They were all the work that was compiled into these books, and that's what I studied. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
And was the movie filmed all here in the United States, or was a lot of it filmed in the UK?
No, all of it. None of it was filmed in the US.
It was all in the UK.
Yeah, the first week of filming was the Isle of Skye in Scotland. You're talking about this place was remote. We were way up there past the Loch Ness Monster, way up there. You had to take a ferry boat with your car to get to this place. And the hotel that you stayed at, that was a couple hundred years old, if you wanted to bathe, you had to give 2 days notice. Okay.
What?
So that was the first week of, if you wanted your water hot, I guess, So I remember I walked in sort of a castle type hotel. And when they told me that, I said, well, I'm giving you we're going to be here 7 days. So I'm giving you 2 days notice for every 7 days. Yes, I want a hot bath. Okay.
Yeah.
But that was 7 days exteriors, and then back to London, the surrounding area of London. The next 5 months was all sound stages.
And was that the EK King Studios? Am I saying that wrong?
Yeah, L Street. I don't remember EK. And I remember L Street, Shepperton, EMI. I'm sorry, EMI. I think is what you should have.
Okay. And did they do Star Wars as well?
Yeah, Star Wars was actually going on. I think one of the. Yeah, there were. I think they were doing reshoots or something about the same time. Also, they were shooting Reds. Remember with Warren Beatty and Jack Nicholson?
Yeah.
And I actually met them. I met them one night. Jack was cool. Warren was a little bit, okay, you met me. Have a good day.
I sat next to Warren Beatty in a movie theater. And he
turned to you and said, hey, nice to see you. Have a good day. Okay, bye.
Yeah, he went, hey, you met me. And I was like, wait, that was weird. And he's like, yeah, Sam Jones will tell you that story one day.
How cool was it that you had Queen actually do the music to that?
Wait a minute. What's crazy is I heard the question and I'm looking to see whose lips are moving. And remember, is that you?
That was me.
There's a delay right now. Did you notice that? There's a delay. Okay. Your lips were not moving when anyway, okay. We got it. It's a 3-second. Okay, I'm sorry. I was so shocked by there. Okay, what's the question again?
Watch your lips.
Watch your lips.
Watch your lips. Go.
How cool was it that Queen did the intro music to The Flash?
Yeah, no, wonderful. Well, they not only complimented Flash Gordon, they brought tremendous value. And if you ask Brian May, he will tell you, and I agree. Brian May refers to this as the first rock opera soundtrack to a major motion picture. Now, other people will argue, I think, Tommy and the Who or whatever, but Brian May, he'll in the documentary Life After Flash, he's adamant about that, and he's a smart guy. You know that, right? Do you know he's also an astrophysicist? I don't know if you knew that.
What? No way.
Astrophysicist.
So is Chris, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't sleep.
He's planning the next shuttle to Jupiter, the first shuttle to Jupiter.
Oh my goodness!
I know he's bypassing all the other planets. Going right. No, that was a stupid joke. Anyway,
I got it, but there's a delay right now. So wait a minute. The laugh is coming.
Laugh now.
Here it comes.
Christopher wants to know New York Jets chosen as a way of paying homage. Oh, were the New York Jets chosen as a way of paying homage to Joe Namath? Do you know? That might be more of a question for the writer.
No. It's a great question because remember the original. Crystal would know this because she saw Buck Rogers. I'm sorry, Flash Gordon, Buster Crabbe. The original Flash Gordon was a polo player. So, flash forward, no pun intended. They wanted to update his vocation. And so they said, well, football, American football hero. Well, what team in 1979? What team? Well, crazy. Joe Namath was still a big name, but, I think he had retired, right? I think he retired at that time because I think why they chose the Jets, because the Jets did have a good team in 79. And they had some pretty controversial players on their team. One in particular was a lineman. I think he was the first star lineman in the NFL. Gastineau was his name.
Yeah.
Gastineau, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the quarterback was Brian Todd. Anyway, so I think that's why they chose the Jets because they were, I believe at the time, the most popular with the American audience.
There you go. I remember Mark Gastineau. He was a beast.
Yeah. He was a beast before. What's his name from the Giants was a beast, and Taylor.
Lawrence. No, not Lawrence.
Lawrence Taylor and Gastineau were the two, big defensive backs.
Yeah, he was a New York. Yeah, Joe Namath.
Yeah.
And then came Reggie White, Philadelphia Eagles.
Right. I mean, but when that movie came out, to be honest with you, it was the never-ending back and forth between Pittsburgh and Dallas. You always had Pittsburgh and Dallas in the Super Bowl. So it was nice to see that they picked the Jets as the team that I'm a Jet fan, so personally it spoke to me as a kid when I saw it. I was like, yeah, Jets.
Nice.
Go ahead, Chris.
I'm sorry. Just switch gears. I'm really curious, Sam. What are you working on right now, or in the pipeline that do you want to announce or plug? Like when I was doing some research, I saw that you're working on a film called Edgar Allan Poe's Decapitarium, which is a very cool title. Yeah,
I did that for my friend, and I enjoy doing the independent films. I really do. We actually did that last year. But I'm doing one in a week. I'm sorry, on the 10th. They don't want me to talk much about it, but it's called another independent. It's called Surge of Power, and superheroes. And I sit on this committee of superheroes, so I get to have some fun. And my eyes turn red, and I have my staff like Moses, and it's gonna be fun.
Cool.
Nice.
Can you tell me real quick about this? Amber asked me to ask you this, by the way. You're doing a comic tour where you travel from city to city and do comic signings.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about what that's about?
Yeah, and guys, Marilyn, Brian, you guys need to do this. I'm sure you already have, but Jason Font and Jason David Frank, two red Power Rangers. They got me doing this, primarily Jason Font. He said, Sam, you have to do this. Number one, it's a private, intimate setting. Number two, the fans are not having to spend, 50 to 100 for the day, or $400 for the VIP Comic-Con, VIP pass. And you get to spend a lot of time, and you're going to make a ton of money. I mean, and sure enough, I started doing it, and it's a little bit different. You're only doing 4-hour slots. So when I fly into, so let's just take Florida, because I've done Florida twice, and Ohio. And anyway, so I'll fly into a region of Florida, and I'll do a comic book store in Miami, okay, on a Friday night for 4 hours. And then either that night or the next morning, I'm going to drive to Fort Myers, which is outside that radius of conflict. You can't have comic book stores or toy stores, that are too close in proximity. Right. It's not good for business. And then Saturday morning, I'll do one in Fort Myers, and then an hour and a half north or 2 hours north, I'll do one Saturday evening, then I'll do one on Sunday. It's incredible. I've done this yet.
I got to do 2 stores for another event down in the Gulf Coast. So I did a store, 3 Alarm in Biloxi, Mississippi, 3 Alarm Comics, and then 2 days later I was there in Alabama,
nice.
Where I did another signing. And that was because, large gathering capacities were at a very percentage of like 20% or 15%. And it was a way to keep doing this as things went on. Me and Marilyn were down outside of Kissimmee, where we did a 1-day Comic-Con where we had 5 media guests. Yes. And then the space was a big open space. And instead of what would normally fill that space with vendors, and as anybody who's been to a Comic-Con, how densely packed, they get all the vendors together. Sure. They had double wide aisles, and the vendors had double the space than they would need. Yeah. And for that 1 day, it went really well.
Was that at a comic book store?
No, that was at an actual event space.
Yeah. Okay, good.
And this was in the beginning of Spring Lake, when still, things were a little like, hey, we should be wearing masks and social distancing, which that's what they asked for.
Yeah. Well, Jason David Frank and Jason Font started this in support of small business, especially specifically for comic book stores and collectible
Absolutely.
Toys.
Yep.
That's why they did this. And
both those guys, I am good friends with both of them. They're really stand-up guys. And it's good to see that they, went back and reached out to the stores that support these Comic-Cons by being vendors.
Yeah.
I would definitely consider it, especially if it was with you, Brian,
Absolutely.
Look at you guys. You can make moves. Sam, do you have a tour schedule anywhere?
Well, I do. I mean, it's on my Excel spreadsheet. Do you want to look at it?
Share your screen. Let's go.
Where am I going? I think I'm going to what I just said. I think I'm doing. I mentioned Miami. I think it's next week. Yeah, I'm going to Miami, and Fort Myers Miami. Obviously, is on the East Coast, and Fort Myers is on the West Coast, and then I'm going north to Brandon. Right, same of the Gulf Coast. I'm sorry, and then back on the East Coast for the north to Port St. Lucie. Yeah.
When you come into Philadelphia, so we can link.
Well, we got to work that out because they want to do a celebrity golf tournament. I got a buddy that I was actually in boot camp with in the Marine Corps many years ago, and he wants to do a celebrity golf tournament. And I told him, and he's about 20 miles from Philadelphia. So we've set a date for September. That's a Saturday, September 25th. So we're going to do the celebrity golf tournament, and whoever wants to play golf and come on out, it'd be good. But that's the day I'm giving him. And so what I'll probably do is I'll probably book an event Friday, in the area outside that.
Yeah.
And then I'll book another event on Sunday. Yeah.
Well, I know Amber was saying maybe figure out a way to link up with Zenescope too. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see if that works. If not,
But I'm booked every weekend. I mean, it's incredible. I'm booked almost every weekend, except for November and December. I'm saving those dates because I'm getting calls from the UK and Germany now where it's like 80-90% that they're going to be reopened, so I'm just saving the month of November and December because the UK, Wales and Scotland and Ireland, and who'd I miss? England.
England. There you go.
And then Germany. And Brian, you've done that. Maryland, have you done the UK or Europe yet?
We did 2019. We did London, MCM London. Wonderful show. I did a show that was out on the Isle of Wight. Isle of Man. Would love to go there, especially for that bike race. But yeah, the Isle of Wight. I've done that. I haven't done anything in Germany yet, or the rest of Europe. But once it opens up, and we'll see. I mean, I'll be shooting Clerks 3 this summer, so we'll have something. We'll be shooting a new Clerks 3 film this summer, hopefully coming out the beginning of next year. So we'll see where we go from there.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'd love to go back to the UK. I loved it. I loved the history about it and all that. So hopefully, again.
Hopefully they have air conditioning at the MCM, because they did not have it when I was there, and it was extreme. I was like melting. I was wearing Slave Leia too, so like there wasn't much going on, but I was melting.
You're sweating in a Slave Leia.
Yeah, but Crystal Star, you know what happened? You said you were there in 2019, right? All of you?
18. I was 18.
I was in.
Okay, because
I was in 19. 20.
Brian Cooney used to own MCM, correct? Brian Cooney. I think he sold it. I think he sold it that year.
Yeah, Reed Pop now
Reed
owns
Pop
it.
bought it. Yeah, but it's no. Yeah,
And
I know
Amber,
you got to have
Amber
air
used to work there.
conditioning. I mean, yeah, if it's hot.
Yeah.
And in the wintertime, they didn't have heat as well. So that's just wear a jacket, But you can only remove so much clothing. Of course, you can wear body paint and nobody would know it.
There you go. Crystal's done that too.
I
I
have.
was shocked. Let me tell you a quick story. So my introduction to body paint, I think it was 8 or 9 years ago. I was at this con. I don't remember where I was, but these two women came up with the costumes. They had an incredible costume, like a Crystal Star there. And they came walking up to me. I said, wow, that is so skin tight. Look at that. And they said, can we have a picture? I said, come on up here. And as I put my arms on their shoulders, I went, I am touching skin right now. This is bare skin right here. And as I looked down, I went, they don't have any clothes on. That was like, the paint is so real. It's amazing. It looks like a real costume. That was my introduction.
That's funny.
So talking about skin, and we can move on if you're not comfortable talking about this whatsoever.
Oh boy.
But
Go ahead.
the 1975 calendar spread of you.
Yes.
Can we talk about that?
Of course. Why not? It's part of my life. Oh, wait a minute. I told the guys I was going to do this when questions like this would happen. Okay, man,
Yes!
go ahead.
Awesome. So I am a collector of Playgirl and Playboy from the 70s and 80s.
Yes.
And I have a really nice one from 1975.
Of the Playgirl.
Of the Playgirl.
The Playgirl Centerfold. Say it. Say the word. Say it.
The Playgirl Centerfold
Playgirl
with Sam
Centerfold.
Jones.
Yes.
Okay,
Well,
but it
yes.
doesn't. I don't believe it has your name on it.
Right.
And
Right.
where did you get your name for your
Right.
Yep,
For the article.
for the article.
Article.
Exactly.
No, let me give you a quick. Let me tell you what happened, why I did it, and I did it. It was great.
Was
My, okay,
it was great. It was great.
My hero at the time was Burt Reynolds. Okay, in the '70s, Burt Reynolds was an icon, right, guys? I mean, he was huge.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
All of a sudden, and I'm trying to do a modeling career, and I'm having no luck. I just got out of the Marine Corps. I'm trying modeling, but I can't fit into the stock clothing. I'm a 44 to 46 long jacket, right? Well, you got to be a 40, which is fine, but I wanted to do it anyway. So I'm struggling in a modeling career, and I see my hero, Burt Reynolds, poses naked, or I should say naked.
Very
poses naked for Cosmopolitan magazine.
I've seen those too.
And I said, well, you know what? If my hero can, and then right about the same time, I got an offer to pose for Playgirl. And they said, do you have a problem if because we want to embellish your story. You know, you're just a normal guy. You know, you play Marine Corps football. That's about all really that's your story. That, you know, that's a pretty boring story. He said, but we may embellish the story. I said, go ahead. I mean, I got, you know, what am I going to do? So they paid me $1,000 in 1975, and they wrote a story. Obviously, they gave me a name called Andrew Cooper III, a billionaire.
I love the third. The third to me is
yeah. So that ended up becoming the Man of the Year spread, and so that's what happened. So I went on the Hollywood the following year. Well, it came out. We filmed it in 70. We filmed it. We shot it. We shot those naked pictures in 1975. It came out in 76, and so I just went to Hollywood, and it never hurt. It never helped. I mean, they don't care really what you did when. And no pun intended when I say this next line. I know Brian's gonna laugh, but no producer or director is going to hire any of us unless we can deliver, not deliver what you think, unless we can deliver in the performance of on film. Okay. Boy, I really dug that deeper, didn't I? No, I mean, no one's going to put their reputation on the line unless we can do that part. So it never helped. It never hurt, but it is what it is.
Do you really believe it never helped?
No, I mean, well, look, if that got me in the door, no one ever said, oh, by the way, you know, I've got your spread here. Do you mind signing it?
You never signed those?
After we hire you for, you know, one time, but let me tell you what happened. One of those crazy moments. You know, I've got 5 kids, and I remember when my oldest was 11 or 10, I'm doing a celebrity golf tournament in across the street from Fox, whatever that park is called. Anyway, and all of a sudden, and we're talking about huge galleries like they do at the pros at the PGA, and all of a sudden, I'm signing autographs, and here I'm with my 11-year-old son, and this guy opens his book and goes, "Can you sign this?" And I went, "Give me that thing." Okay, my son said, "Daddy, why did that man have a picture of a naked man?" Okay.
Man, have a picture.
I mean, come on. I said, "Shame on you." No, here. I'll sign it. Not here. So, I did the Warren Beatty thing. Okay, thank you. Have a good day.
That's great.
Oh my God.
I have a signed poster of you, but it is a signed poster of Flash Gordon.
Okay.
And I love that one. So thank you very much. And I also want to say that you are so good to your fans. I've had the luxury of having a booth next to yours at a few conventions.
You know what? We have met. I keep looking at you. I know you got the great outfit on, but we have met.
We have, probably in wigs and someone else, but yes, we have. And I just want you to say, like, I'm a part of a lot of groups, and people talk about you in such a beautiful, positive way. The fans, like on the internet, you are one of those actors who are really well known for being amazing and not being one of those, jerks that you meet and you regret meeting. You are the complete opposite. You are the hero in real life. So thank you.
Yeah, a true icon.
Yeah.
Did I meet you with Blake? You know, Blake, who has the Cos girls with him a lot. Blake, whatever his last name is.
No,
Blake Lively or something? No, not Lively.
Oh, maybe. I'm terrible with names. I've met you a few times in Dallas. So
yeah, okay.
And in LA. So
yeah, cool.
Your biggest fan right here.
Right here.
Sam, we can find you at the Sam Jones on Instagram. Sam J Jones. Sorry, the Sam J Jones on Instagram.
Yeah.
And Facebook.com, Sam J Jones Official.
And also, don't forget lifeaftermovies.com/lifeafterflash. If you haven't watched that amazing documentary, you can definitely check it out. I think it's also on Amazon Prime as well.
Yeah, I cry like a little bitty baby in there.
It's gorgeous. It really is a great documentary. Really great insight into your life, Sam. Dude, thanks so much for coming on. We really appreciate it.
I love it, man. You got great guests. It's wonderful.
Look at us. Look at this panel.
Wait, have you shown him the cover yet?
No, because we were going to reveal. You want to see your cover? We should reveal.
Wait, another spread was taken of me that I don't know.
This might be you. We're not sure.
Oh, thank you.
Blame it on Son.
This ain't gonna be you, sir.
Chris, will you ask Mark if he's not watching? Will you just text him to release the cover? Release the crack.
Yes, release the Flash. I will.
All right.
Text him right now.
We might as well show it now.
And switch cameras so he's not covered, so we can see his reaction. Switch him and I. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Okay, Sam. This is an homage cover. And Son, the amazing Son right here, did this for us. And here we go. The first time ever. Boom.
Wow. Oh my gosh. That is so cool. That is so cool. Wow. That's amazing, Son. Really.
Son killing it.
Good
for you.
Football. Love the egg football pose.
I'm telling you, right on with that, man.
This is at Zenescope.com right now.
And I'm looking at the S. That is really different. That's really unique.
Yeah, we incorporated the Zenescope logo
into the Zenescope logo as the S.
Yeah. Good for you. How much time is put into that?
Too long, probably. It takes me about 4 days.
Oh my goodness. And what is the size of the original piece of this? The size?
It's actually a digital painting. So I work on my tablet. It's like paper, but it's on a screen instead. Yeah, I'm kind of a messy person, so this fixes my problems.
That's amazing. I'm telling you.
Thank you so much.
It is. Guys, grab it now if you like, but come back because we're going to talk Flash Gordon. But that's the cover. And I don't know what's going on here. Sam, thanks again. I would love to have you back, and hopefully I'll see you soon at one of the conventions coming on.
Looking forward to it, guys.
All right, brother.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you. What a cool guy.
Sam's the
best.
best.
I didn't think Crystal was ever going to let him go.
You're going to be talking about Playboy, Playgirl.
Well, tell me more about the Playboy picture.
Well, when he said he was when he said he was a 44 long, I was like, what? Oh, he's a 44 long jacket.
Right.
Have you guys seen Boogie Nights? Because I'm just saying, those pictures.
Wow.
It's worth finding on eBay.
Crystal, settle down. Maybe you need to take a break.
This live stream is Z-rated. I love it. Beautiful.
Thank God I wasn't drinking a drink when she's like, I'm a big collector of Playboy and Playgirls. I was like, what?
Someone needs a cold shower. You're right. You're right, L. Warner 9. Someone does. Someone does need a cold shower.
I asked
it just went up even more.
I feel like we kept Sam. Is that Sam back? Wait, hold on. I think he wants to come on and say something.
Oh, yeah, he's waving. He wants to come back. Hey.
I've been here the whole time. What are you talking about? I heard what city does everybody live in? Let's start right down here with Ralph. Maryland.
I'm in LA.
Okay. Brian, you're LA.
No, I'm actually up in Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. I'll be coming out there. Chris.
Pennsylvania, right outside of Philly.
Okay. Crystal Star.
Dallas, LA.
Okay, cool. Who's that? Oh, that's me. Okay, I'm in San Diego. Okay. Son.
I'm in Victoria. British Columbia,
BC?
Canada. I'm in Canada.
Are you on the island?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's
Have you
cool.
been?
A lot of jobs in Vancouver, but I've never been on that island.
Oh, you should come. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I love it. Ralph.
Right now I'm in Austin, but LA and then Philly.
Cool. All right.
Where Zenescope's located, and in LA normally.
Fantastic. All right. Well, Yeah, I'll get the schedule to you guys. I know Amber said that in the email today. Let us know your schedule.
Yeah.
So
yeah, because we
work
do a
that
lot
out.
of comic book store appearances as well with our company, Zenoscope, obviously.
Yeah.
So we'll link up, figure out a way to do something.
Sure.
Yeah, and we'll see you.
Yeah. Are you guys off the air right now?
No,
Oh, no, we're still live, baby. We're live.
I mean, are people listening to this?
There's
Okay, then you know what? Just get my contact from Amber. Okay. Thank God I didn't give my contact.
I know.
You still have listeners? Okay,
Yeah,
listen, everybody wants more
Sam.
Sam Jones, so we can't have enough of you.
Sam, we still have to talk about the movie itself
to-
without you in the room.
We haven't even gotten to the movie discussion yet. We were just letting you go so we could talk about the movie.
We do the ratings of the movies, and we decided very early to have all of us interview you, and then talk a lot of trash about the film when you're gone.
That's
I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Wow, Chris.
Whoa.
Weird.
No, you have to be real. You have to talk about
We're
the
putting
facts.
Chris on timeout.
And you got to talk about the facts, and that's not FAX, that's FACTS.
Well,
But anyway,
in fairness,
just to be clear,
the last movie we did, we kind of there was a couple trashing moments of the last movie. We won't go into
Right.
details.
But not Flash Gordon.
Not Flash.
Gordon is the
This
best
movie is
movie.
iconic.
That's perfect.
no, you just have to tell the truth. And look, it was kind of, if you ask me about Flash Gordon, I mean, the first thing I say is visually, it's a masterpiece. It is. But when you
We're just
start getting
getting
into it's camp, it's corny. Am I supposed to laugh there? Are they being serious? Are they real or whatever? So I tell people all the time, you know what? Stop brainstorming it and just sit back and enjoy the ride. You know, that's what I want to tell people. You know?
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah.
All right. In that note,
Yes.
I feel like we should let you go.
So yeah, just, Amber would tell you where I'm going to be. I'll send her my stuff if you need my contact for anything. Just get my contact since all the fans are listening, a couple million. Does everybody want my contact out there? Okay,
Yeah,
you ready?
everybody wants to-
Here it is. Right here it is.
Crystal, did you get that?
Okay.
I did. Got it.
Crystal's been in the car tonight and driving to San Diego, Sam, just FYI. Okay. We're letting you go.
Should I go now? Is that enough?
You can stay and critique the movie.
No, you guys do your thing. And
We'll do our thing.
without
But
me.
we do love you, and I appreciate it.
Okay, I hope to see all you guys. And by the way, I do know I'm going to be in Salt Lake City for FXCon, right?
Oh,
Dan's
yeah.
coming back. I think that's the weekend of the 16th to the 18th. And I do know I'm doing a smaller one in New Jersey on Sunday. I'll give you the date. But Amber has all that.
And
But
we're going to post it for you, so we'll post it for you as well, so everybody can see what you're.
Yeah, if you just check the social media site, I always send that. But Amber will know too. I'll send Amber anything. If you guys need anything, you just reach out to Amber, and then she'll give you my contact, and you reach out straight to me.
Okay, man.
And Brian, I still have your contact.
Yes,
Thank you, Sam.
I have your number,
Show it to
sir.
everybody. Here it is, right here. You ready?
Don't be showing him my number.
Go on Brian's number.
Bye.
I'll see you, Sam.
Oh my God, I love
Last
it.
thing I need is
He's
my
our best
number.
guest ever. He just won best guest ever.
Best guess ever.
Seriously, that's what I'm talking about. When people meet him and like
He
at these
just, like,
conventions, he's just absolutely amazing. Like
Hands down.
I saw him backstage. He was waving, and I was like, "Oh wait, I guess he wants back in."
I was gonna say, I would critique this movie 100% in front of him.
I
Because-
was ready to at that point because I thought he might want to stay, but then at the same time,
He might have. He might have
They
tried
told
to
us
play.
we had a half hour with him, so we got an hour 15 minutes with him.
Yeah.
Woo!
You know,
That's
I
okay.
thought he was coming
He's
back to
great.
dispute the 44 long joke.
I know. He was like, as soon as he said 44 long joke, he started waving, almost like I need to talk to Brian.
Excuse me, HR.
HR. Okay, guys, we're running a little behind.
It's okay. Let's talk about the movie.
I thought you said we were running long.
We're running long. I missed that.
Our happy hour turned into happy 2 hours.
We're running a little long. Chris, take it away. Let's talk Flash Gordon.
Yeah, so let's start off with some overall impressions. I think a lot of us are already. I think we buried the lead already. I think a lot of us love this movie, but I don't know if anyone hasn't seen this in a long while. I haven't seen this in like forever, but I had a blast with it, and it just brought back a lot of happy, cool memories. Just very colorful space opera. You shouldn't take it seriously. It's just lots of fun from the beginning to end. So I had a blast rewatching this for it felt like the first time in a long while. But well, how about everyone else? I mean, Crystal, you're obviously a huge fan of this film.
I am. I seriously am a huge fan of this film for so many reasons. And I think, when you break it down and you really start looking at it, I think that my love for Star Wars crosses over to this film tremendously, maybe even more than I had really realized. Watching it again this week, I was like, and that's what I wanted to ask him. Was this the same set that Dagobah was on Star Trek? Because it looks the exact
Star
same.
Wars.
Yeah, Star Wars. Yeah. It looks exactly the same. They're shot in the same studio, and I really wish I was able to ask him that. But you have Dagobah, you've got Cloud City in there as well. You've got Indoor. So you literally are like in those same tree houses essentially. And it's kind of crazy. You've got these drones and these droids. And I was like, holy crap, like this is a lot like Star Wars. And then I found out that George Lucas actually really wanted to be the one to remake this Flash movie in the 80s. And I was like, holy shit, Nikes, that's insane. And so I think that is a huge part of the reason why Flash Gordon holds a special place in my heart personally. And it's very, very, very similar. So.
Yeah, like you said, Lucas was a huge fan of the old serials and the comics, and he wanted to make this movie. But at the time, there was like a sort of conflict with like the film rights. So he basically started writing Star Wars Episode 4, out of that. And as the production of that continued, there was more similarities. Like for example, the Flash Gordon movie. The lead DP and cinematographer Gilbert Taylor, he became like the main DP for Star Wars. So obviously like George Lucas, like he was even a fan of this film, and he also borrowed talent, and he made his own space opera epic, which is everything was cyclical. It was really cool to find out about that.
For me, I don't think I've ever seen it. I think I've just seen clips of it here and there. And then I know that, with some of the other films that we've reviewed, it's like, oh, it's been so long, I'm not sure if I saw it. But then I'd be watching and I'm like, okay, yes, I've seen it. That didn't happen with this. So I'm assuming that I had just never really seen it. But I also remember little clips of like the original in the 30s, the black and whites. I don't know that I've actually seen that in its entirety, or unless I saw it when I was, really, really young. But visually, yes, gorgeous. The costumes, the makeup, and just simply just stunning. Did it have to be 2 hours long?
No.
That killed me.
It's long. It is long.
It didn't seem it to me. To me,
you guys saw it when you were. I never saw it. This was the first time I saw the whole thing. I've seen pieces of it throughout life, like here and there when I was older. And then this was the first time I watched the whole thing through. So I think if I saw it when I was like 8 years old, like you, Brian, I'd probably have a different reaction to it.
Well, I saw it not in theaters. I saw it on VHS.
Okay.
Kids, ask your grandparents what I'm talking about. And so when I saw it then, I loved it then. And now that I'm older, especially, you see how this is a Dino De Laurentiis produced film.
That's true.
I mean, he had his fingers in almost every type of special sci-fi superhero thing, from the 77 King Kong to, the Dead Zone he was a part of. He was a part of all the Orca, the movie, and then he did Dune, both Conan the Destroyer and Barbarian. And you saw that he brought the Italian costumers and set designers and artists to these type of films.
Yeah, I think the costume design was Dune and this one.
Yeah. And so that type of very big sets, over audacious kind of costumes was a De Laurentiis film, and that, in a sense, was great about it. You know, then when you saw Dune, you were like, "Oh, this could be the same universe almost because of the costuming and all about it." It's once again another film that's incredibly quotable, and I enjoyed it.
I think what Marilyn said struck me the most was the costumes and the set pieces, and the way it looks. Like, it really does hold up in a lot of ways. If you know, even watching it now, you're like, wow. And I can only imagine when I was like in 1980 when this comes out, how epic the feel of that is. Compare, you know what I mean? Like, it still looked gorgeous.
Yeah, and practical effects again.
Practical effects, true. Yeah.
I think had I seen it then, I'd probably feel a lot differently about that 2 hours.
Yeah, I'm sure. When you're a kid, especially.
Yeah. But I definitely can't go away from just the visuals.
What's that, son?
Oh, sorry. I talked over you. I'm so sorry. No, I tried to kind of watch it with like children's eyes instead of adult eyes.
Yeah.
Because that's a huge difference. I watched it for the first time a couple of months ago to do the cover because I really wanted it to be, because I had heard about Flash Gordon and I really wanted the image to be like Flash Gordon, right? So so I watched it the first time. I was like, this is so cheesy. I don't know if I can make it through. And then I watched it again because I was like, okay, I know what I'm getting myself into. Just keep like, you know, a child mind kind of wonder. And I loved it. I freaking loved it. And I swear I'm going to watch it over and over now. Like, just knowing what it's about, you know, like it's, oh, and for me too, Marilyn, like, I think that it was gorgeous, like jaw-dropping, like with the sets and the costume. I really think that it doesn't look like they compromised or cut corners on anything. It looks stunning. Like,
by the way,
because I'm a visual artist, it's just, I really appreciate that and I respect that.
Yeah.
Somebody over at Marvel owes the editor of this film for the opening sequence of all the comics.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly like every opening of every Marvel movie when they come to the title card. So even though there's more motion with the Marvel one, and this is just the straight pages of Buck Rogers, but I was like, wait a minute, is this a Marvel movie?
And gosh, like we're talking about costumes a lot. Like, what is everyone's favorite costume? There's like so many of them. Like, my personal favorite is got to be the general with that sort of golden Doctor Doom type of mask. Like, anytime he was on screen, so cool. Oh, and Prince Voltan. Prince Voltan's awesome.
He was so cool. Yeah.
Played
I like
brilliant.
The women's costumes. They were so pretty. Oh, with the flowing fabrics and the jewels, they were just gorgeous.
Yeah. My favorite part of Clytus was this part of Clytus.
His death scene,
that was awesome. His death scene was the best.
Yeah, I was actually watching that with my Twitch family, and I screamed so loud because I completely forgot that his eyes like popped out like that,
and his tongue.
Yeah, and
wait, they actually made an action figure where you could push a button and his eyes did that. So,
oh my god,
yeah,
that's amazing.
So cool.
Yeah, very Doctor Doom. I feel like a lot of Marvel stuff kind of like, because some of those Marvel things were already drawn out.
Because Sam didn't talk about, we had a future James Bond on the as well.
Yeah.
Dalton as the Baron.
He was a one and done James Bond, wasn't he? Or was he?
Yes,
two?
he was.
One and done.
It was like The Living Daylights.
That was a great Bond movie, by the way.
Yeah.
I was a really good Bond. I love that one. I was very underrated. Just that.
Well, quite a few iconic
I
people.
mean,
what's that?
That there were quite a few iconic people on that because the Doctor it's the guy from Fiddler on the Roof. I immediately recognized him.
Oh, Topol. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Him. I mean, this was like
Max von Sydow,
Yeah.
like absolute
Sydow.
legend.
Him, the two of them
Brian
together between him is just so good. Brian Blessing is so amazing.
We did make 2 Bond movies, Joe. Okay, Joe says he made 2 Bond movies. Sorry, I was wrong.
You know what would be interesting though, because would Max be able to play Ming today?
No, because he's dead.
Ooh, good.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Sorry?
I don't think he. I mean, I doubt it. Is Ming's Asian, so it would probably not be a great.
Oh, I see. Ming, the Merciless.
Probably not an ideal move nowadays.
Exactly. I mean, but who can deny, like how great of a character he created?
Mm-hmm. Like Von Sydow, he just absolutely crushed. Like he was full of pathos, but like it was still, there's a little bit of camp in there. But like I assume like when you're in 1980s, like when you're 8 years old, there's like probably some moments of his where they're truly scary, truly terrifying. When you're an adult right now, it's just like you just admire the craft, and not just him. It's like this entire cast is so stacked and so talented, and I don't really think there was any really a weak point.
Let's talk about.
De Laurentiis loved Max so much he put him in the original Conan the Barbarian as the king. I didn't
remember that.
Yeah, he was in that as well. So.
What's your guys' favorite scene in the movie? Does anybody have a favorite scene?
Oh my God! I was watching this. I was like keeping this question in my head, and I totally forgot about it.
I really like the Fall Guys scene. Go ahead, Brian.
No, I was just saying the attack of the Hawkmen on Mongo.
Yeah. And like for me, any scene with Prince Voltan, like I just loved his bombastic Viking warrior god persona, and like especially in the final fight against the Rocket Ajax, like that was just easily my favorite. Like second favorite would be like the death match on the moving platform. It was just a very fun time to watch.
Yeah, that's my stream, and I called it the Fall Guys scene because it's like very much like the Fall Guys video game. It's hilarious. So yeah,
the football scene was my favorite. Like when he starts beating everybody up with the football, and like it's just so ridiculous and silly. But like it kind of grows on you. It's just so like
he's calling a play. All the enemies like, what's going on? He starts charging.
43. Like what? And then what's his name hits him in the head with the ball and just ends the whole like rally. It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
And King Voltan or Prince Voltan always interfering ever so slightly with his staff and
bopping the head.
Get that slapstick humor in.
Yeah, and there's that slapsticky moment.
The little people, which by the way, Deep Roy was in this movie.
The Willy Wonka guy.
Yeah, he's a little boy, right?
Yep.
Yes,
he must have been really young in this film.
I think so.
Yeah. I think
that's my favorite as well. The whole football, everything that's kind of going on with that.
I think one of my other favorite scenes.
Look at Chris is grabbing the cover. Chris, don't steal that cover.
He's got the head to telepath on, and he's trying to talk to his girlfriend or the girl he just met that now is his girlfriend. And then the princess is like, making out with him, straddling him, and he's just like, "Oh, that feels so good." And she's like, "What?" He's like, "Oh, nothing."
He goes, I didn't mean that.
I'll call you back.
He's like, I didn't mean to say that to you. I wasn't talking to you or something. And she's just like, huh?
That literally was 1970s version of texting the wrong person.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't meant for you. Sorry.
That wasn't meant for you.
Totally wasn't meant for you.
Part when she says, "I have so much to tell you," and he says, "I'll tell it to our children." And she goes, yeah, and then she gets pulled away, and she says, "We're engaged." I'm like, when did they get engaged?
Yeah, that was.
Is that a deleted scene? Is there a 4-hour cut of this movie?
That's the original.
This was the 70s, kids. Things moved fast back then.
Yeah. So.
They did.
For real.
I feel like nobody's gonna have like a moment they didn't care for in this one. Does anybody have a moment they're like, eh?
The snake people. What was up with those?
Yeah, the snake. That's true.
Yeah, the lizard, the sock puppets.
It's like they ran out of budget for the freaking snake.
Yeah.
They like.
I'd have
they
to
blew
say
their
that's
budget.
where the costuming just kind of lacked a little bit. Just
It
the
was
lizard.
like, what do we do? We don't have any.
We'll just throw those in.
Like, Did no one have the number to the people over at Dreamscape and be like, "Yo, can we borrow that snake costume?" We are having difficulty with snake costumes over here.
Snake was dead. Dreamscape was still a few years off, Brian.
Dreamscape was
You know
like
what?
1984.
The technology didn't exist.
Another Max von Sydow show, too, by the way.
Yeah, those snakes were probably the worst thing.
They were better in the original film. So I think they just kind of like threw them in.
It literally felt like they just forgot and were like, okay, go to the
Lizard Man.
let me run to Target, grab some snakes.
If they had trimmed the scenes with the scorpion in the log and testing out and I think that whole scene, if it was trimmed down to where they were just like, that was a little slow to me. I mean, it was great for Timothy Dalton, but in general, I was like, do we really need this?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of the Hawk people, like a lot of the Hawkman scenes, like I'm just curious to see what the movie would be like without them. Like I love them, but
Max Mongo then the Hawk people would.
I know, but I just I would like to see a little bit less of that. Do you know they had to wear those hawk wings the entire time for like hours and hours and hours? And a lot of the men, when they were not being filmed, they would just plank, like lay down on their bellies because they couldn't sit. So, yeah, just lay down on their bellies on that cold cement.
They weren't doing like ab planks. They
No,
weren't.
not planking, just laying on their bellies.
I did feel like the Hawk people flew a little slow. Like, I don't know. Seemed like
Okay,
it was a
It
little
was the 70s.
Have you guys seen Gentlemen Broncos? That's my favorite movie of all time. You guys should seriously check it out. It's called Gentlemen Broncos.
Gentlemen Broncos?
And I definitely see so much from Gentlemen Broncos that they stole from this film. Like a lot of the flying in the air, like the Hawk people, like just a ton of it. Yeah. Well, damn, you guys should really watch Gentlemen Broncos.
It's got 19% on Rotten Tomatoes. I'm gonna run to watch.
It has 19%.
Yeah.
Whatever. It's like one of my favorite movies of all time.
Crystal, I believe you. We'll add it to Movie
Crystal,
Club. Don't
we
worry.
trust you. I'm just kidding. Is there another Gentleman Broncos? I'm missing.
No, it's Gentlemen Broncos.
From 2009? Is that right?
2009, probably, maybe.
Okay.
Brian, you would love it. You would absolutely. It's a treat.
It's the guy who made Napoleon Dynamite. So I'm sure it's good.
Oh, is it the same guy?
Yep,
Yeah,
same guy.
It's
Okay.
a treat. It is a treat.
Okay.
If you like campy sci-fi stuff.
Chris, do we go to the Are we going to Zebascope yet?
Yeah. Well, how about let's go with the Zebascope rating, and then let's talk to Son a little bit about the layouts and the process of the cover. But let's start with Crystal. Crystal, what would you give your rating on this movie?
Well, we need to see our previous scores.
Yes. So if anyone has missed Movie Club last week, we had our first perfect score. Terminator had 5s across the board. So that's a milestone from last month. And this is the current rating scale for the entirety Movie Club.
It's a lot of blue. Joe, I guess Joe's out. We could cut Joe out.
Joe's out of here.
Joe's quit.
Joe's banished from the island.
Joe's been banished. Okay, so The Zeboscope chart. I don't know why you corrected it to Zenoscope.
Man, I really don't know if I should give this like a 4.5 or a 5, honestly.
Crystal,
you gotta go with your gut.
You should give it a 5 just by how much you want to
throw her into it.
I do love this film. You
She's
know
given
what?
every movie a 5. So what's the difference?
I am gonna give this movie a 5 because I think this movie, like cult classic, like if this movie came out tomorrow and with nothing changed except for like, you know, newer actors, I would be like, this is so campy and terrible in the best ways possible. Like this is like Gentlemen Broncos, which is my favorite movie. So I'm giving it 5.
You've given 5 centerfolds out of 5.
I think Philip is onto something. I think the centerfold is what pushed it over.
It is.
She was able to see the lead actor naked.
I know.
If y'all had seen that centerfold, you would all be giving
She's
this movie
never
a 5.
been the same since then. Chris, do you want to go next?
Yeah. You know, on this show and in the office is a running joke that no one can trust my ratings of movies because I just love everything. And you know, life is too short. You just gotta enjoy, you know, the little things. And there's a lot of things to love in this film. Like it's no, Ralph, no.
Just give it the 5 and move on.
I will give this a 5. I greatly enjoyed this film. Like there was nothing about this film I didn't have a problem with. Very bombastic, very campy, very colorful. I'm giving it a 5.
I gotta see Chris. Wait, hold on. Crystal's given 2 5s now.
3.
3 now. Chris, you give it back to back. Although Chris hasn't done a 5 before Terminator.
Oh yeah, I did one for Terminator, but yeah, this is my second 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair. Okay.
But, yeah.
Brian.
Movie's a classic.
Brian. Don't feel bad about your rating, guys.
No, I don't feel bad about my. I'm going to give this movie. Now, look, like I said, I love this movie from when I saw it as a kid, and getting to know Sam over the years doesn't influence it because he's a great guy in general. And so I'm going to give this a 4.5. There are some moments that are slow that I think could be trimmed. Mm-hmm. And some of the practical effects were what they were for that time. But if you just sit back and enjoy it for what it was, it's an awesome movie. So I'll give it a 4.5.
That's a really good score. It's another great score. Marilyn, I'll let you go before me.
Thank you.
What do you do?
You know, and I'm glad that I saw, you know, what I've been doing, because it's like in thinking about this ahead of time, because I have to take into consideration what I did for 2 or 3 of the other movies that we've seen that I probably would take away points for. And so, you know, I've got to rate it accordingly because this was definitely better than those 3. But it's like I'm taking away points because I just felt like it was too long. But otherwise, I enjoyed everything else. So yeah, was it campy? Yeah, it's like, and I think I can probably watch it and enjoy it a little bit better now on the campiness side. But I will probably give it like a 3.5. I'm torn between 3.5 and 4, to be honest.
Reaction. 3.5, Marilyn. 3.5, right?
Or can I do 3 and 3/4?
All right, 3 3/4.
Damn it, all right, fine. You can do a 3 3/4. You do a 3 3/4. You invent your 3 3/4 centerfold.
It has been logged.
Son, I already think I know what Son's going to give it, but
oh, do you?
I do.
I
have a feeling.
I think it's a 4 for me.
That's exactly as
So because the worst character is Hans, right? His whole story arc doesn't really make much sense other than he's the guy that created the spaceship, right?
He's the guy who gives the exposition. He's like the starting point, and then he's just there.
Yeah, but other than that, we don't really need him because like his memory got wiped, and then for whatever reason it came back. He's like, "You can't forget any of the things I know." So it was just that annoyed me. That part of the movie, it was could have been improved. But overall, I mean, it was stunning. It's a work of art, in my opinion. I definitely am going to watch it over and over again. So
sweet. All right, there you have it.
It's high, but it's not the highest.
I feel like mine should be a 4.5.
There you have it. Okay, moving on.
You put whatever you want, Chris.
I put a 5 on your rating. If it's inaccurate, I can bump it down.
What did you
bump it down? Okay.
4.5.
I will wave the flag for the 5.
Can't hear you, Brian. Anyway, moving on.
Wait, Ralph, what is your rating?
Yeah, Ralph.
Oh, you guys, you didn't hear
Ralph.
it earlier? That's interesting.
Ralph.
Okay. All right, I have a hard time with this.
Why is you staring?
Speak louder.
Is Sam still in the green room and he's giving the fingers?
No, Sam's not back there. It's not about Sam. All right. You have to understand, I watched it for the first time this week. So, like, it's Marilyn, stop it. Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
I watched it yesterday.
It wasn't the easiest movie to get through because of the length. I did find myself kind of like breathing heavy a couple times. Like, I do. Here's the things I appreciate: the look of it, the costumes, all that held up. The campiness, I grew on me a little bit as I went. I understood. I think if I was like taking it at face value, I probably would have like given this a much worse rating. Something just hit my house. Is that you throwing stones at me?
Sam.
You better give it the 5. The soundtrack also has jacked this up, but for sure.
For sure.
That theme, I just kept waiting. When's the like that flash? Like I kept waiting for that moment. I'm like,
do you know how many weddings use the Queen wedding march for their wedding march?
Yeah,
it's amazing. So that being said, we're moving on.
No, Ralph, you're gonna throw off the scale on this episode.
No, I'm afraid to give this a bad rating. It's not a bad rating. I'm going with a 3.
Three's average. Three's the average on the 5-point scale.
It's a solid rating. It's not my favorite movie. It's not by far.
You would have done any lower.
No, I couldn't go lower than I can't. It was a gorgeous film. I get it. I just wasn't like enthralled like I wish I would have been. I bet if I saw it as a kid, I would have liked it even more.
And I probably would have given it a 3 as well, had it not been for those 3 that I talked about, so I knew I had to kind of bump it up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to lie and bump it up to like a 3.5 or 4.
All right, Chris, since Ralph sucks, I'm taking a 5.
Listen,
we're giving Flash Gordon a curve.
Everything a 5 like you guys. I'm sorry.
See,
sorry, Crystal.
Awesome. Well, I have all the scores.
I think she gave Edward Scissorhands a 12 out of 5.
I think, yeah, because, yep.
Well, the music totally bumped that one up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm keeping my 5. It grew on me.
Okay.
You got to keep your 5. It was your first instinct. It's fair. I get it.
4.5 was my first instinct.
Let's get to. We're about to get out of here, but like, let's show this one more time. By the way, on sound.
Nicely done, by the way.
Thank you.
Anything else we need to talk about the cover? Anything you want to tell us about your making of the cover? My dog's barking. I apologize.
Well, here's the first question.
Oh, wait. Potato outside.
The movie before making the cover.
I did. Oh,
there you go.
And that was the time that I thought the whole movie was super cheesy and long and annoying. But then, like I said, watching it a second time, I was like, I get it now. I get why this is awesome. Yeah, no, I just wanted to bring homage to one of the scenes that I thought was the most iconic, the football scene. And I had a lot of fun with this one. I actually love painting blonde hair, but yeah, no. And the egg thing was, I didn't really understand it. I tried really hard to not make it look like a watermelon.
Now that is all I see.
Yeah. Okay, great.
I think
there's watermelon. I totally see watermelon, but it's not what you're talking.
She's just
I
holding
love
it.
this. Like Sam said, the S, the logo, Zenescope logo S is amazing. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. One of my favorites you've done.
Yeah.
Okay, do you guys want a sneak peek? Do you know what next month's movie is yet?
I do. I'm so excited.
Tell us.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
I'll give everyone a clue.
We're gonna do
If
a
it
sneak
bleeds,
peek.
you can kill it.
You're gonna know. You're gonna know. Ready?
Predator.
Yeah. Oh, that was so quick, Ralph.
That's all you get.
If it
I didn't
bleeds,
say
kill it.
oh.
Do it one more time.
Nice. Predator.
That's next month's movie. I feel a 5's coming around the bend.
Yeah, I think so too.
Ah!
So are
All
you
I'm
gonna try
gonna
to
say
get
is this might be one of my favorite movies of all time we're watching. So.
Mhm.
That's
Are you
great.
gonna get
What a
Arnie?
classic.
What?
Are you gonna get Arnie for the
Yeah,
special
we're
gift?
working
We're gonna get
on.
Arnold. We're gonna get Carl Weathers.
He wants $50. I don't know if we can afford it. But we're gonna try. Get to the chopper.
It was really good going in the jungles of Costa Rica and shooting this movie. It was crazy, I had to cover myself in mud. And here's the thing they don't tell you, leeches, they actually live in the mud. And I had to come out and there were all these leeches all over me.
We don't need Arnold. We have Brian.
Yeah.
We're gonna do Brian as Arnold. Crystal, yes, it's gonna be an Arnold Schwarzenegger. Was he in any Playgirl magazines? Do we know?
I don't have any of him fully nude, but I got an entire gym full of him, and my girlfriend.
No one got to see my little Schwarzenegger. No one.
My girlfriend
I'm here just to see it.
Crystal, we need a virtual tour of your shrine to Arnold.
I will try to get that and put it in our Discord. But
Funny.
yeah, my girlfriend Ellie and her boyfriend Dave lived with Arnold for part of the pandemic, actually.
What? That's
Oh, wow.
random.
Yeah. So
We'll get you in, Brian.
right. So they're the ones who they own Laser Unicorns and did the Kong Fury film.
Oh my God, Kung Fury!
Yeah.
Yes.
So and Arnold is in their second film. So they are doing Kung Fury 2 and Arnold is in that. So and apparently Dave and Arnold became like really, really close. And when the pandemic hit, Arnold let them live in his like guest house. So they were like feeding his animals and stuff like
To say, for the longest time, I thought it was Arnold and his donkey. And that was
Yeah.
it.
He's got a donkey.
Yeah.
And his tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In his tank. Yes.
All right. So next movie club is Predator, guys. That's that's going to be June 25th. Mark it on the calendar.
June 25th, really?
Yeah. What do you want?
That's
I'll
my
be in
birthday.
LA.
Whoa!
Sweet.
Hell yeah!
Yeah, I didn't know. Really?
We're okay
I'm
with
wearing my
that?
party hat.
Are you going to make it?
Oh yeah. Is it okay if I'm a little?
We're going to do a
Not sober.
Little tips.
a lot not sober. Okay, guys. It's a son birthday party celebration / movie club.
Yes.
It's going to be
Party better be there.
party favors, all that good stuff.
So
Oh,
I'm
wait,
gonna mail you your comps. I'm gonna mail you a Predator birthday cake. So
I will
All
make that one.
right, we're gonna celebrate son's birthday.
Cool. And I might not be here, son, but happy early birthday.
Crystal's bailing on us.
I am hosting a party at Scum and Villainy in LA that night.
Yeah, you're gonna have way more fun.
I might be in LA that week as well, but I'll make it to movie night.
Oh, the three of us should try and get together. I know I froze up here, but I
You
still hear
froze. Where are you?
We still hear you.
I think I'm gonna be in LA that week.
We're still here in spirit.
you. Yeah.
Um,
it's moving,
also,
but-
real quick before we let you go, if you're still with us, we are having our Sweet 16. We are having our own birthday party. 17th through the 19th. This is
our Sweet 16 virtual
the
con.
Sweet 16 birthday con, guys.
3 days. 3 days of
It's
party.
our 16th birthday.
That's really awesome, actually.
Do that. So, Chris, yeah. So 16th birthday, bring your Sweet 16 presents. And then we'll be celebrating son's birthday, 16th birthday as well, a week later.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Lots of cake.
2 Sweet 16s in a row.
Yeah. Just one more thing as well before we let you go. If you're watching this live stream right now and you made it this far, congratulations. I'm going to reveal a grid space for our pirate treasure map contest or scratch up card. So the space is D1. So you have a scratch up card from a previous event, or you're waiting on your card from our past cosplay VirtuaCon. You're allowed to scratch off D1, and as a small thank you for being such great guests and sticking around, and congrats or thank you to all of our special guests, especially Sun. You can pick up these amazing books already on our web store. I'll post links in the chat right now. And if you're there's also this awesome showcase edition, which you can get if you subscribe to that showcase subscription on the web stores. I'll post that in the link. But again, Sun, you crushed it. Amazing work as always.
Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us. Marilyn, I'm sorry we froze. I hope you're still there.
I can still hear you.
We will talk to you all next month.
All right. Bye, everyone.
Happy early birthday, Seth.